Do you create or do you consume? Are you using? Okay. I'm not talking about drugs. I am talking about creating content or just consuming content, engaging with content, even if you don't engage. I didn't want to use the word engage because you might not actually be fully engaged with the content, but are you just using the content from other people or are you creating content? And that is what we're going to talk about today. Beautiful and awesome people, welcome back to another episode of the Diary of a Digital Entrepreneur. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening or watching it. So, let's talk about this. There are only two kinds of people when it comes to this: the ones that create content and the ones that consume the content created by other people. And of course, someone might say, that's not true, Gus. I don't create it and I don't consume any content. Okay, if you live in somewhere in the middle of a desert with no podcast, no internet, no social media, no newsletters, nothing like that, then fine, you are the third kind. But I am not talking to you because, first of all, you are watching this video, so you are consuming content. But going back to reality, there's only two options: you create or you consume. Of course, if you create, you also consume. Now, why is the reason that I'm talking about this is because there are several studies, articles, and I don't know which one is right, but they all are they talk about similar numbers where they say that somewhere around 90% of people, or even more than that, just consume content while 10% create it. And when we're talking about that 10%, we're also talking about people that post stuff on Instagram or Facebook about their lives. So they are not creating content necessarily to promote their business. It's just content that they're creating, but not for any business purpose. And they are included in that percentage. So when we think about creating content for business purposes, that's even less than 10%. And again, I don't know if these numbers are right or not. I actually believe that even less people create content for businesses. I don't know what is the number, but we all know that it's pretty low. So with this in mind, it tells you something. It tells you that you are not late for the game, that you can create amazing content and you can still boost your brand and generate leads. And while I will admit that I don't love social media, I don't like to be, posting content on Instagram and on LinkedIn. I don't even like that much having the obligation of creating these videos. I will admit that now I like it more than at the beginning of this challenge. But if I were to choose, I would prefer that someone gives me $1 billion every year for me to decide how I spend it and who do I help, what organizations do I help, and what do I do with my time. But the reality is, if you have an online business, ideally you have to generate leads, and the more leads you generate, the more freedom you have. So creating content is one of the best ways to do that. And you can create content and easily separate yourself from your competitors, which most likely are not creating content. Because the majority of people just consume content. And by consume, I don't mean hitting like or engaging, comment, just watching the content. And you can create it. It's not that difficult. In fact, I have a course that is called, and I know that you're going to say, oh my God, Gus, you keep talking about this, we already know. But I have to say it. With AI, right now you can create content so easily. That's why I have that course, a course called How to Create 6 months of Content in 1 day with AI. Because you can really easily create content in no time. In fact, in one of the lessons, I show how I create content for a kind of a, I forgot the name. It's not an account, a CPA company, and so accountant, and how I create content in just like 25 minutes. I create 166 pieces of content that they can post on LinkedIn, and the publications are really good. Obviously, anyone, the whoever publishes should go through them and adapt them to their own voice and style, but they are almost ready to publish. And that was done in 23 minutes. So nowadays, you have no excuse to not be publishing content on social media. I don't want to make this video any longer than it has to be. My point, what I wanted to convey to you is that you're not late for the game. And if you post content on social media or on your newsletter, podcast, YouTube, whatever it is, if you post content, if you create content, if you are a content creator, you don't need to be an influencer. You can still be a coach, a doctor, a consultant, a engineer, whatever it is that you do. It's not about being an influencer. It's just about creating content that serves your audience, that helps them, that boosts your brand, that gives confidence to your audience about who you are, about your expertise, and it's not that difficult. So please go ahead and do it. Make sure that you create content, not just consume it. And with that, my friend, I'm going to say goodbye for today. Thank you for listening or watching. You know what to do. Please like, subscribe, hit that bell, do all those beautiful things, leave a comment. I would love to hear what are the topics or the questions that you would like me to talk about. Please leave a comment below. I'll see you in the next episode.